Welcome back to the Hard Truth Hurts Ministry podcast. I'm Athena Ryder, your host, and I am jumping on here quickly today to do the hard truth about New Year's Eve. I don't want this to be real long or filled with a whole lot of fluff or edits. So I'm going to make it quick, simple, to the point, so that you can see the truth. But just short, sweet, and to the point. In order to do that, I'm going to share my screen just so you can see how easy it is to find out the true roots of this holiday very specifically. Christmas, there's a whole lot of conflicting information out there. There's preachers and pastors out there that are saying it's not pagan. If you want to find out the true pagan roots, though, go to the Hard Truths About Christmas video right there. There are true pagan roots to that, and however, they are trying to hide that one. So this one's a lot more clear and to the point, and I just want to show that to you. So I'm going to share my screen here for you. 1 second, sorry, I've never done this on this. Well, there you go. Alright, so I went to Google. And I typed in, does New Year's Eve have pagan origins? And here you can see, just plain and simple, they did not even try to hide it. Yes, New Year's Eve and the broader New Year celebration have significant pagan origins. Excuse me. Stemming from ancient Babylonian, Celtic Samhain, I know that doesn't look like it, but that's Samhain, and Roman festivals that marked seasonal changes, celebrated fertility, and honored gods like Janus, with traditions like bonfires, feasting, and spiritual cleansings eventually evolving into modern customs like fireworks, resolutions, and midnight kisses. I'm sorry, I'm struggling with my voice tonight. I apologize. So the ancient roots, the Babylonians around 2000 BC, they first recorded the New Year festival. Oh, I don't know how to pronounce that. Akidu. It was an 11-day event celebrating spring, planting, and renewal, with spiritual purification as the core theme. The Romans dedicated January 1st to Janus, the two-faced god of beginnings, doorways, and traditions, solidifying the date for the new year. All right, so the Celts with the Samhain. The Samhain festival actually is where Halloween stems from as well, and I did go over that in a Halloween episode that never made it live, so I apologize for that. We will go over it next year, but the Samhain festivals helped. The Samhain festival is where Halloween comes from. But one thing that they did there is that they would go out at midnight and bang pots and pans, or spoons on pans, or loud objects like that to ward off evil spirits, which is where we get that New Year's celebration from. So their New Year's celebration, Samhain, in late October, marked the boundary between life and death, where people used bonfires like the Yule log, there's Christmas coming into it, and customs to ward off spirits. So the evolution into modern traditions. Roman customs, the Romans celebrated with feasting, gift-giving, which carried into the Middle Ages. The Christianization of it. The Roman Catholic Church, you guys, Roman Catholic Church once again eventually adopted January 1st as the new year via the Gregorian calendar in 1582, of course, incorporating pagan dates. Why would the Roman Catholic Church purposely incorporate pagan dates and customs into the new calendar while sometimes reinterpreting them, you guys, I'm sorry. Modern practices, tradition like fireworks from bonfires, resolutions from purification rituals, and midnight kisses appeasing spirits, you guys, echo these ancient pagan celebrations for renewal and protection. Okay, so those are the pagan roots. They're not hard to find. It's very straightforward. They're very honest about it. They're not even trying to throw God or Jesus into it at all. So they're at least being fairly honest there. However, God did set up his own. He has his own Hebraic Jewish calendar, and the first month of that one is Nisan. And that happens in the spring, roughly about March or April. It marks the anniversary of the Exodus from Egypt. However, it always happens 14 days before Passover. Passover happens 14 days after the first day of the new year. But in order to find out how God truly feels about this, let's go over to Deuteronomy 12, verses 30 through 32. After they've been destroyed, be careful you aren't tempted to follow their customs. Don't even ask about their gods and say, how did these people worship their gods? We want to do what they did. Never worship the Lord your God in the way they worship their gods, because everything they do for their gods is disgusting to the Lord. He hates it. They even burn their sons and daughters as sacrifices to their gods. Be sure to do everything I command you. Never add anything to it or take anything away from it. So going back over here, where it says the Romans dedicated January 1st and the New Year's Eve celebration to the god Janus, this is now a worship festival for Janus, you guys. So God does not want us celebrating it because he doesn't want us worshiping in their way or adding him to theirs at all, the way we discussed with the Christmas celebration. However, he did set up his own New Year's for the first of Nisan, or Passover, as we've talked about. And I'm going to go to Exodus 12, 1 through 20. We're going to read quite a bit so we can learn about what God set up as his New Year. So the Lord said to Moses and Aaron in Egypt, this month will be the very first month of the year for you. So this is when God wants the first of the year to be. Tell the whole community of Israel, on the 10th day of this month, each man must take a lamb or a young goat for his family, one animal per household. A household may be too small to eat a whole animal. That household and the one next door can share one animal. Choose your animal based on the number of people and what each person can eat. Your animal must be a 1-year-old male that has no defects. You may choose a lamb or a young goat. Take care of it until the 14th day of this month. Then at dusk, all the assembled people from the community of Israel must slaughter their animals. They must take some of the blood and put it on the sides and tops of the door frames of the houses where they will eat the animals. The meat must be eaten that same night. It must be roasted over a fire and eaten with bitter herbs and unleavened bread. Don't eat any of it raw or boiled, but roast the whole animal over a fire. Don't leave any of it until morning. Anything left over in the morning must be burned up. This is how you should be dressed when you eat it, with your belt on, your sandals on your feet, your shepherd's staff in your hand. You must eat it in a hurry. It is the Lord's Passover. On that same night I will go throughout Egypt and kill every firstborn male, both human and animal. I will severely punish all the gods of Egypt, because I am the Lord. But the blood on your houses will be a sign for your protection. When I see the blood, I will pass over you. Nothing will touch or destroy you when I strike Egypt. This day will be one for you to remember. This is a permanent law for generations to come. You will celebrate this day as a pilgrimage festival in the Lord's honor. For 7 days you must eat unleavened bread. On the first day, you must remove any yeast that you have in your houses. Whoever eats anything with yeast in it from the first day through the 7th day must be excluded from Israel. You must have a holy assembly on the first day and another one on the 7th. You must not work on these days except to prepare your own meals. That's all you may do. You must celebrate the festival of unleavened bread because it was on this very day that I brought you out of Egypt in organized family groups. This is a permanent law for future generations. You must celebrate this day. From the evening of the 14th day of the first month until the evening of the 21st day, you must eat unleavened bread. There should be no yeast in your houses for 7 days. Whoever eats anything with yeast in it must be excluded from the community of Israel, whether he is an Israelite or not. Eat nothing made with yeast. Whether you live, you must eat only. Wherever you live, you must eat only unleavened bread. Okay, that was really long. Sorry, you guys. But what do we see here? Obviously, there are no more sacrifices because Jesus' sacrifice takes care of that for us. So that we don't need to do the killing of the animal or the blood on the doorposts. However, what we do see is that this is still a permanent generational law, and that we are to get all the leaven out of our house on his first day of the month. So this is, or the first day of the year, I apologize. So this month will be the very first month of the year for you. Every year, he wants us to get rid of the sin out of our lives and to get with him on what we are supposed to do to better the new year. He doesn't want us partying, spending it all night up when his new night starts at evening, by the way. So he does not even want us doing that. He doesn't want us participating in the gluttony and the selfishness and the New Year's resolutions that have absolutely nothing to do with him and are all about self-importance. He wants us ridding our lives of sin and getting with him on how to be better. He wants us to renew our relationship with him every year. And it's a permanent law. So we see this again in Leviticus 23, 5 through 8. The 14th day of the first month in the evening is the Lord's Passover. The 15th day of this same month is the Lord's festival of unleavened bread. For 7 days you must eat unleavened bread. On the first day there will be a holy assembly. Don't do any regular work. Bring the Lord a sacrifice by fire for 7 days. On the 7th day there will be a holy assembly. Don't do any regular work. So this is how the Lord wants you to spend New Year's. This is what he wants you to do. And by sacrifice, since we're not supposed to do animal sacrifice anymore, what are you giving up for the year? Yeah, there's your New Year's resolution right away, but what is it that God needs you to lay down? It's not about, getting fit, vanity. There's the number one. Everybody wants to, get fit and be skinnier and weigh less. There's your vanity, or they're taking up some hobby that's all about them. And very few people are recommitting to, read their whole Bible this year or read it in chronological order. That's actually something my husband's doing, but not because it's the new year, but because he wants to. So get with God and see what he wants you to do. There's never a bad time to do that, including this time of the year. But he wants you to celebrate New Year's during Nisan, which depends on every year because our calendars don't match up, but it's usually between March and April. In next video, we will go over all of the feasts coming up for 2026, so you know how to properly worship our Father, just in case you didn't already. But I just want to show you 2 more areas that the Passover is commanded in. So we got Numbers 9. And in the first month, after the 2nd year after the Israelites left, the Lord spoke to Moses in the desert of Sinai, and he said the Israelites must celebrate the Passover at the same time every year. You must celebrate it on the 14th day of this month at dusk. Follow all the rules and regulations for the celebration of Passover. And we've kind of already been through those, so I'm not going to keep repeating it. But he also says it again in Numbers 28. Oh, yeah. So in annual sacrifices, here we go. The 14th day of the first month is the Lord's Passover. The 15th day of this same month is the pilgrimage festival. And for 7 days you must only eat unleavened bread. This is how the Lord wants you spending your New Year's. Every year he wants you to get the leaven out of your house, out of your body, out of your relationship with him, out of your life. And on the first day, there will be a holy assembly. He wants you to sit resting in his shalom, in his Shabbat, high Sabbath, with others fellowshipping, though. He wants you to have a good time still, but he wants you to be in his holy assembly, not out partying with the world as the New Year's ball drops. So don't do any regular work, and then, you can see the rest there for yourselves. There is never a bad time to spend getting with God, so if you want to do that this New Year's, go ahead. 26 on the Gregorian calendar can be a time to rededicate yourself to God, but make sure it's about him. Obviously, if we're celebrating in any worldly way, it's now about Janus. It's now about a different god. It's now about a false worship. So make sure you're getting with God, and make sure the resolutions have to do with Him. In closing, I just want to leave that this pagan root up on the screen here for you. Thank you for joining me today. Join me next time for all about the biblical feasts and how to celebrate them in this upcoming year. And remember, the hard truth only hurts to those who need to hear it the most. Stay salty, my hard truthers.